All right, Blake, my man, how we doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Dude, we are blessed as always. Anytime we get a cat on from the University of Tennessee, we're always happy and blessed to have you on. So, before we get into the interview, I got to talk to you a little bit about the West Coast. Obviously, you're a West Coast guy. What are some major differences that you're finding from the West Coast when you go all the way over to East Tennessee?
A lot of things. First off, the weather. I mean, the weather here is perfect, and I'm not saying the weather's bad in Tennessee, but the summers get hot, and I'm not used to like the snow and stuff, and so I had to get used to that.
What's worse, the heat or the snow?
What was the um probably the snow because I mean I've been out there during the summers and stuff because I had to play in like Lake Point or whatever because that's where like most of the good teams are playing. So to get good competition, you'd have to go out there. And
I can imagine that, that initial, as soon as that winter break is over, you guys come back and you start trying to get in the swing of things. That weather's not very fun to deal with.
yeah, not at all, not at all. But we had a game this year where I think it might have been Rhode Island. It was beautiful that Friday, and then I didn't check the weather for that weekend, but for some reason we didn't have a game that Saturday, and nobody said anything, nothing. I woke up the next day and there's snow on the ground, like 3 feet of snow. So yeah, we had breakfast that day, and then whatever, we went back to the field. I don't know if we practiced or not, but you get back to the field and it's covered in snow. And the next day we had a doubleheader, so we come back to the field the next day, it's still covered in snow, and we ended up playing that game.
And that right there is when the fur coat was brought out because they needed it.
Yeah,
For
I think we had the
sure.
most homers that game because everybody wanted to put the coat on because it was cold outside.
So would you say there was a little bit of a culture shock, going from, that far, west to, essentially almost all the way east as you can go?
Yeah, somewhat. Like I said before, like I would go out there for tournaments and stuff, so I kind of got the feel on living out there or whatever. But yeah,
So, let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about, where you are from. Obviously, we're talking a little bit about, the distance traveled, the differences on one side of the country as opposed to the other. But take us back to tiny little Blake Burke back in the day. Where, explain to me where exactly you're from and what it was like growing up, in the house, brothers, sisters, all that good stuff.
I'm from Brentwood, California, but when I first started playing baseball, I was living in Pleasant Hill, California, with my grandparents, and I started when I was like 3. I would hit little wiffle balls in their backyard, and my grandma till this day tells everybody that she taught me how to hit, so I roll with that. Um,
Did she teach you the bat flip though?
yeah, everything. She'll claim everything.
Grandma was doing work. I heard she's back there, looking hitting from both sides on the wiffle ball field.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. Based upon his swing and the highlights when they put him side by side with Griffey, if he wasn't sitting at home watching Griffey, I don't know anything.
I
I was
think he's
watching
too
a
young
couple.
for that, man.
Is
I
he?
was watching a
Yeah.
ton of those highlights. I grew up watching the A's and the Giants, so I mean, them A's players that you guys might not remember them, but or you will remember them, but they weren't crazy talented. But I used to try to imitate Josh Reddick. You guys remember Brandon Moss?
Mhm.
Yep.
Brandon Moss, Travis Buck.
Yeah,
Those guys.
and you say that, but Daniel every year roots for the Rays and the A's because of their payroll situation, and he is
Mhm.
a true underdog lover. So he actually pays attention to the A's every year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I'm a huge
I
A's.
want them to win. I want them to do well.
Me too, but they
It's
always.
like him, and 12 other people.
Yeah, we actually got more people than they did this year at their home games, so that's how it's going in Oakland right now.
Take
And
that.
but
So, really what I wanted to dive into, man. It's like obviously you mentioned, your grandmother is a big influence, but do you have any brothers or sisters or any drivers in competition growing up?
Um, yeah, I have an older sister who played softball. She would always pick on me because she's older, so I had to get through that, whatever. And then I had my younger brother, and he's 12 years old right now. And we used to live in this place called Discovery Bay, and we live on this lake or whatever, and we have rocks, like a bunch of rocks on like our side yard, and there would be like an island like on the lake. So we would try to hit rocks onto the lake and stuff. So that I guess I'd take that as another reason that I can hit so well, is because hitting those rocks, whatever. And so we'd go out there, and every once in a while we'd bring golf balls out there because those things fly when you hit them with a baseball bat.
Daniel, it's almost like a dodgeball. If you could dodge a wrench, it's the same thing in baseball. If you can hit a rock far, you definitely hit a baseball.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
for sure. Probably took some mighty hacks at some rocks out there.
Oh,
So
I had a couple houses, but nobody was outside to see it, so I was good.
They know now, though.
Statute
Yep.
of limitations. You're good, Blake. It's all
yeah,
good.
you're good. I mean, I think we're all kids. We probably can all attest to doing something, to that effect at one point of our lives. But, as a guy growing up, West Coast, was baseball the only sport, or did you kind of dive into a bunch of different things?
I used to love football. I played football when I was younger. I kind of stopped playing because my mom didn't want me getting injured and stuff. So I just started playing baseball. And then my freshman year of high school, I played basketball. It was absolutely terrible, by the way.
Finally,
That was the next question.
A truthful person. A truthful
Yeah.
person.
From Tennessee at that. Usually it's the Tennessee guys who all say they can hoop.
Yeah,
I know. Trust me, when I'm with them, I tell them I'll beat anybody one-on-one because I know we won't ever play. But
Look, Blade and Seth were the best, though, because Seth said he would dunk on Blade, and Blade had been very quiet through the episode, and all of a sudden he became alive, and he was like, I'll be damned.
I can see Seth saying that.
I bet. Look, I got a motto, Blake. I'm not getting dunked on. I don't care how big you are. I'm not getting dunked on.
I ain't just gonna let somebody do that.
They're getting fouled. They're getting fouled hard.
Someone tried to, and let's say it was a flagrant. I got a flagrant right when he started to go up.
Worth it.
It was worth it. I was not going to dunk on.
So, Blake, you mentioned having a younger brother. Obviously, he looks at you. You're like, to me, and I'm an old dude, and it seems like you guys on TV and just watching you guys play, having so much fun. It's almost like you guys are larger than life. What do you tell your brother about like what it's like to be an athlete at that level, but more importantly, like what it takes to be at that level?
I mean, he's very invested into us. I kind of have to tell him everything because he's always asking questions. So, I mean, I tell him what we do every day, whatever. I mean, I tell him you'll see him hitting the baby John at his games when it's a double. So, I mean, he's watching, he's copying us. I have some pictures. I probably can't find them right now, but he's rocking a gnarly mullet, and he's wearing our overalls. Let's see. Oh, this is some that he just did to his hair.
Oh,
He's rocking that
sweet.
with the checkerboard overalls.
I'm glad we started releasing video. We got to get that out there.
I mean, that is one set of neck curtains, brother. I mean,
We got to get a commitment to UT soon.
yeah.
He's a diehard. He's our biggest fan. I brought him back some Ben Joyce sun cleats, so he's still
Get it. Well, like obviously, as a kid growing up, you go from hitting rocks in the lake to playing baseball and really loving it, falling in love with it. You find out that you're good at it. Obviously, was it something that you found that you were good at an early age, or did you have to work towards the level that you're at today? Obviously, there was a lot of work and a lot of practice, but some athletes go, I had this thing. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I was a little bit better than everyone else growing up. Was that the case for you?
Kind of, yeah. When I was younger, I was kind of good at both the sports. I played football and baseball. Honestly, I thought I was better at football at the time, but I had to stop because I didn't want to get injured and ruin my baseball. I wanted to be Bo Jackson when I was younger, so yeah, I had to just go to
With you
baseball.
being a big guy, were you the kid that they wanted to see the birth certificate on?
Yeah, I was. I was.
Man,
Football and baseball. I was almost not making weight in football, but
I
Randy,
got
just
birth certificates for days if you need
Yeah.
them. It's all good.
yeah, he's got many kids, and he's I think his kids play. They're too old to be playing on some of the teams they're playing on, but he
Hey,
just
hey,
makes a
hey.
new birth certificate.
Don't worry about it.
And
Yeah,
you're right. You're
it'll be
right.
good.
So, but
So
like,
yeah,
what is the journey though? Like, are you playing travel ball, or is like are you playing like in a local league and then you move up to travel, or you immediately go into travel and that's what you do?
I think I was 7 when I started playing travel ball. I was playing with like 9U kids. I never got the chance to play little league, so I guess that kind of helps. Was my whole life I was playing with older kids, and it wasn't until like 14 where I was playing at my age, because that's like right when high school starts. So um, I think playing with older kids all the time kind of forced me to adjust to performing at their level, which made me better.
So obviously you're playing with older kids all the way up until you get to high school, and then obviously you probably have a variety of 8th or ninth through 12th graders on the team with you. What high school were you at, and what was that experience like?
Um, I was at De La Salle, so they're more known for football, whatever. But our goal was to make it more of a baseball school too. Football and baseball. I mean, all sports there are great, but I think 2 years in a row before me, they were winning our NCS, which is kind of like our state, because California doesn't have a state. So I guess NCS was the biggest thing we could win. And my freshman year, sophomore year, and senior year, we won that. Senior year wasn't really we didn't really win it. We just won it because of our record and stuff, and because of COVID, they didn't have playoffs. And junior year, you're cut off, obviously, because of COVID.
Well, going into it, I want to read off some accolades just talking about high school. You were ranked as the number 42 player in the state of California by Perfect Game. You competed in the 2020 Perfect Game National Showcase, was named top on the top prospect team, 4-time Perfect Game All-American, 2021 Collegiate Baseball High School second team All-American, 2021 West Coast Preps Bay Area Baseball Athlete of the Year. I actually can't do this. I'd have to read for days, Blake. People aren't trying to hear me just talk the whole time and read off the thing. But I will get to, as a senior, you batted 554. 554 for those listening in. 6 home runs, 32 RBIs, 637 OBP in just 24 games. Was that your favorite season? Looking at these stats, it feels like that would be the easiest to say because, dude, you're batting 554.
That's pretty good, I think.
As a player, like as for myself personally, that was probably my best year. But I'd say it was more fun because that was the first year I got to play with all the kids from my class, because they none of them were on varsity, like
Gotcha.
sophomores. So I think playing with them and stuff, that made it even more fun because it was kind of like our team. So it was also made it feel better that I was able to lead it that way.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's cool that you got to be able to share that season with your teammates. And like you said, coming off COVID year and everything, between travel ball and high school ball, around what time did coaches from colleges start approaching you?
8th grade was my first offer, and I only had 2 scholarships, believe it or not, but one was Cal Berkeley, one was Tennessee. And my Tennessee one was pretty late for baseball, and
So was there any thought about Cal Berkeley just because it was close to home, or did you want to get away from home and try to travel out and go somewhere else?
I wanted to win. Nothing against Cal, but
Hey, just say it as it
I
is.
wanted to win.
There's a guy by the name of Tony Vitello. So I
Yeah.
hear. I mean, he's pretty persuasive.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's really good at what he does. So is Josh Elander.
So
I had a really good relationship with Elander. We talked for a while, and nobody was offering, and so I was like, screw it. I mean, they're what I want. What's the point of waiting anymore? So I just committed. When the day I committed, I was in Florida. I was away from my family, and I called them, whatever, and then I hung up, and I realized, like, I'm talking to all these coaches, and none of them's offering me. They're just feeding me BS just to keep talking to me, whatever. And I call my dad. I'm like, I'm committing right now. He's like, what? Can you at least wait till we're with you, whatever? I was like, no, I'm committing right now. So I called him back, and I told him that I'm ready to commit.
So I got a question for you. You know, we had Tony on here, and he said, you know, early when he first started at Tennessee, he didn't have that same confidence that he has now. And based upon the timeline, you know, when you would have been in 8th grade and everything, you know, would you agree with that? Was he not maybe the same guy he was, you know, 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, I wasn't talking to him in 8th grade. I only talked to Cal, but that was when it first started. But from when I first started talking to him to when I stopped, I mean, you could tell that something changed in the program, and that was when they first started winning games. But I didn't know anything about them before I committed, and like nothing. All I knew was that these coaches wanted to win, and they're in the SEC, and so I was like, I'm on board.
So Randy's obviously going to get into this year, but you know, go into last year before you got there. I mean, how awesome is it to know that the school you're fixing to go to is in Omaha, and you know it's got that kind of program, and you see Lindsey Nelson packed out, and you know, and just the atmosphere. Like, I mean, are you just getting so stoked you can't wait to get there?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it today, and I was just watching Arkansas and Ole Miss play, and it hurts that we're not there, but I mean, it also feels good that that's the standard now. It's not to win a regional, not to win a super regional, not to go to one of those, but it's to win the whole thing, which is a good pitch to recruits and transfers, and which makes me feel comfortable that we'll have talent around us, and we'll always play with that attitude. And yeah.
No doubt. Well, before I turn you over to Randy to talk about this season, you know, I talk to your mom on Twitter a lot, and my favorite thing is every time you hit a home run, which is quite often, she says, "That's my baby boy." And the first time she did it, I said, "That's no baby." And she said, "He'll be my baby boy when he's playing slow pitch softball." So, you know, what's it like to have, you know, your mom in your corner like that? You know, somebody who, I mean, every time you do something great, she's sharing it out. She's showing the love. Like, what's it like to have a mom like that in your corner?
It's awesome. I mean, I'm not going to say anything to her, but I mean, I guess I will be her baby forever. I was actually playing a summer game in California a couple of days ago, and I was about to hit, and I hear from the dugout, "That's my baby." So I mean, they kind of got in my head a little bit, but yeah.
That's cute that you think that you have a choice in that matter.
I don't.
No, absolutely not.
That's
So-
why I choose not to say anything. I let it go.
Absolutely. So is there a downside? Obviously, we see her, she's promoting you and all that, but obviously we know how Twitter and social media is. Is there ever a downside? Are you ever checking tweets like, hold up, man, it's my mama now?
I try to stay off the Twitter. I mean, people talk trash no matter what.
Absolutely.
Anything. So I mean, I just try to stay off.
Like you're a smart dude.
Could you, after the episode, could you talk to Jim just one-on-one?
I'm telling you.
Whoa. He should be all about me being on Twitter because I spend half my time defending Tennessee's character, do I not?
Jim spends he spends his time defending you so you don't have to. That is true. He's like a true vigilante for justice.
Thank you for that.
He's a Twitter superhero.
And see, what I did is I picked my spots. I was telling him not to do it, and then one day it just it got the best of me, and
Mhm.
I went down, and I just had to unleash on some folks, man.
Well, Blake, the one that killed me, man, and I don't want to cut into and talk about Evan, but we'll bring up Evan for just a second. You know, his dad was kind enough to tell me a couple hours before the game what was going on. We don't disclose information we get from the players and their families. And so the next thing you know, I got to watch Twitter just run wild with all these lies and accusations. And
Yeah.
boy, like, and I still didn't want to put the information out, but I still also wanted to try to put fires out. And obviously, as you know, that was a firestorm that I didn't have enough water for.
Yeah. I mean, when you have the attention like that, and not a lot of people like us at all, people are going to stir some stuff up just to ruin our reputation, his reputation, whatever. I mean, we know who we are, so I mean that's
No,
all to us.
absolutely, man. Us against the world. And it's been like that for Tennessee for a long, long time. But enough about all that, Blake. I want to talk about you. And I am going to read I'm going to read all these accolades for a second, man. Going into Tennessee, 2022 perfect game freshman All-American, 2022 collegiate baseball All-American, 2022 SEC all-freshman team, 2022 SEC co-freshman of the week, May 16th. You tie the freshman home run record with your 14th home run in the regionals against Campbell. So talk to me about, obviously, you know, you get on campus all the way from the West Coast, right? So you talked a little bit about the culture shock, but talk to me, was this everything, for your performance for you, was it everything that you knew you could do?
I knew it was in me. I just had to get it out of me. When I showed up to campus, I was fat. I was big. I was big.
Yeah,
And
we've heard that on this we've heard that on this podcast before from somebody.
yeah, you have. Our strength coach Q got me right in that department. So I just started changing my body, you know, working on everything I can to try to get my best performance out. And I still have a lot of work to go to. So
I'll tell you, Randy, you remember who it was, and this is a good thing
Austin
for Blake.
Riley.
It was Austin Riley from the Braves. So, I mean, it's a good thing for you. If you just follow his footsteps, hey, we're on the way.
He's
Yeah.
pretty good. He's pretty good, I'd say. So, Blake, they got you listed. You're 6'3", 230. Is that really your weight, man?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're
It
230 like right now.
fluctuates from 230 to 235, but
We have that in common. I'm just not built like you. You know, I'm 38, bro. It happens, man. But look, I want to talk, but you know, obviously coming in a lot to adjust to, but it seemed like you adjusted just fine. But if you could just pick out one series this year, or one game, what was that one game that stands out to you when you think back on your freshman year?
probably Georgia Friday night. I think I went 3 for 4 with 2 homers.
2 homers. It wasn't
And
a
for
double.
some reason, I hit my second one. I hit it. I just pointed straight up. Have y'all seen that video, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
I've seen the video. Watched
I
it
don't
live.
know. I
Saw
don't
the
know
video.
what happened. It just came out of me, and I was like, "Oh, I need to stop that." So I had to go.
Let me ask you a question, Blake, because I mean, talking to you now, you kind of, you know, you seem like you're, you know, cool, calm, and collected and all that. Did you have the swagger that we've seen on the baseball field before you got here? Was that something you always did, or did they bring it out of you?
There were flashes, but I mean, I was kind of scared to, do it. But I mean, since
got
I've
over
gotten here,
that.
I've gotten pretty comfortable with ourselves. And Coach V always talks about being comfortable in your own skin. And I mean, he brought up Jock Peterson, for example. He'd wear those beads, and he's a big dude himself. But I mean, he's comfortable in his own skin. He started performing even better because his rookie year, I mean, he obviously went off, and then he struggled for a little bit, and he kind of found himself when he started getting comfortable in his own skin.
Blake, don't rock no pearls, man. Don't do it, please.
Yeah.
I was
And
thinking about it.
I think you would look fine rocking the pearls, but I bet one thing you guys wouldn't have in common. I bet you wouldn't get slapped over no fantasy football, bro.
Oh. Yeah.
I'd like to see the guy that did it. So talking about all the accolades that you have, obviously, you know, the home runs, and we've seen some killer bat flips from a lot of you guys. But one of the ones that was most stands out to me is when you like let the bat go. I mean, it was just epic. It's iconic. I mean, that's something that's going to live on in TikTok infamy forever. What's going through your head when you hit a home run like that? Is it anything? Because Drew Gilbert says he blacks out and doesn't remember the bat flips.
Same thing. I mean, I know I do that bat drop sometimes. I don't know where that came from. I've never done that.
Ken Griffey Jr., I try to tell you that they have put the highlights together side by side. It is a mirror image.
The Kentucky one, that was kind of the only one where I had like feeling for it. And I think that's the one you're talking about, right?
It is.
Hoover.
Yep.
I mean, I hit that, and I don't know why I just threw it.
Oh, it was
That
awesome.
was the only one I had feeling like I did it on purpose. So
Absolutely, man. So
I'm scared for these guys. I feel like at some point folks are blacking out, doing backflips like this is gonna get out of control. I
yeah,
feel like every bat flip that happens is like a one up of the one before it.
yeah. I don't know what it's gonna come to, but we'll see.
no bat flip ever looks as cool as when a lefty does it, though. I mean, it's no swing looks better. It's just too pretty.
You know what sucks, guys? Blake isn't aware of this, but going back to last year when we had Mississippi State and LSU guys on, we were provoking them to bat flip at each other if they hit any home runs. And remember, none of our guests that we had on hit any home runs. We went wrong. We should have done Tennessee and got some epic bat flips. They do it anyway, but we should have asked for a little extra mustard. Something that said the in off the bench challenge them to do it.
I don't think you got to motivate them guys to do no bat flipping. But I do have a question for you, Blake. So obviously you're in a different position. You talk about, obviously travel ball and you lead in your high school team your senior year. You come to Tennessee, find yourself in a different position. I'm not going to say a bad position because you're hitting well, but you're not a position player, an everyday position player like you were. Was that a difficult adjustment for you to make?
No, not at all. Actually, I would say like confidence wise, it was different. You have to find ways to boost your own confidence at the plate because you don't want to be thinking if I don't get a hit here, I'm not going to play again. But I mean, I feel like learning how to control that was probably the most difficult part.
Yeah, no doubt. So, and you spoke earlier about, why you kind of picked Tennessee, the ability to win, and also Vitello and Elander. Those are kind of things that most people do say commit, and they always do mention Elander. It's not just Vitello. And obviously you got for the pitchers, Frank Anderson, just a all around all-star staff, the Q, the strength coach and all that. But what was it like to come in with so many upperclassmen? I mean, you got guys that are like 30, like Evan Russell and Luke Lipschitz, and then you're coming in, all babyface dropping bombs. I mean, obviously, I know you learn a lot from those guys, but talk specifically about, what it was like to play with. So you played above your age group, but I bet this was a little bit different. These guys are 4, 5, 6 years older than you in some instances, right?
Yeah. Honestly, when I first saw them, I was kind of starstruck from watching them all year. I kind of looked up to them before coming here. But I mean, those guys are a huge part of why we were successful this year and how the program's changed. I mean, they are literally the people that have been on both sides of the program. So I mean, they know the ins and outs, and then they keep everybody accountable. And I think it was very important that our class got to spend this year with them.
No, absolutely. And, I think next year, obviously Vitello and talked about this team found something that was theirs and not like the previous team. Right. So I think you guys will be doing the same thing, but obviously, like this season doesn't go the way that you guys wanted it to, because you had aspirations and goals of being in Omaha, not just being there, but winning the whole thing. But when you look back on your freshman year and the team, what's the one thing that you'll remember about this team and your season in particular?
Honestly, how close we were as a team, and how we played. I mean, it was exciting playing and watching, from the dugout. I'm sure a lot of people could say the same, that it was very exciting to watch us play. And I kind of want to carry that over to the next 2-3 years that I'm here.
Absolutely. So speaking of that, the next couple of years, you mentioned the standard is not just to win a regional, it's to win it all, right? So obviously some upperclassmen are leaving. And Jim and I have talked ad nauseum. A lot of people want to say, well, those guys are leaving. That was a cool run for Tennessee. And when you look at guys like you and more, just you're set up in so many ways. The standards aren't changing for you guys, right, Blake? I mean, this is still hoisting the trophy at the end of some years, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have Beam, Burns, Dallander all returning. Me, Simo, Dickey.
Joyce said he's coming back too, didn't he?
Yeah, they said Zach Joyce, but it's actually Ben Joyce. Don't tell anybody. Dickey's coming back. I mean, we have transfers coming in. I mean, we'll be very talented again next year, and maybe even better. I mean, with the pitcher, the whole rotation coming back. So I'm excited for next year.
I think it was really easy for everybody to forget too when they started talking about it. Not that I thought this was true, but they said, the pitchers don't look quite the same. And although I don't buy into that a whole lot, what I do think people forget is, especially with Beam and Burns, those are freshmen. You guys are freshmen, so they're pitching a lot of innings. There's going to be certain of that. Those guys come back with another year under their belt as sophomores and juniors. My goodness, man.
Especially
scary.
especially if Dolander keeps juicing. He sent me that thread the other day where they had the message board where they said my man's on the juice.
Yeah. That guy, you can look at that. I love Dolly, but I don't think juice is something I would accuse him of. But listen, last question, and DB will get to you playing a little game. I hear you're playing some ball in the California Collegiate League. How's that going, man?
Good. I've been playing with the reason why I'm out here is because the head coach has been my hitting coach for the past 3 years. It's Joey Gomes. It's Johnny Gomes' brother. So I mean, I kind of want to get another summer in with him before going to the Cape. And
how many bombs you hit? How many Burke bombs we've seen?
I've only got one right now in 6 or 7 games.
I need more, Blake.
I'm sorry. I'm still getting used to the wood bats.
You know what? I don't ever want to see a wood bat game again out of the University of Tennessee. I didn't like the way that went.
Yeah, that game was. I forgot about that one. I had to block that out of my memory.
But what an atmosphere that was, though, right?
Oh,
in the
yeah.
minor league park, packed out. I mean, that atmosphere was crazy, man.
Yeah, that kind of showed why we need a bigger park.
Absolutely. They might call it the house that Blake built. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you're this summer you got every opportunity to get better with the wood bat. Obviously I'm kind of curious, what is the I mean, obviously we look at the SEC and we go, all right, that's the best competition that you can play, like hands down, like from top to bottom on a day-to-day basis. Like, what is the competition like when you go to this collegiate league? Knowing that you're an SEC guy, is it easier or is it in some regards harder?
I mean, the talent level is obviously not the same at all, but I think just getting the repetitions against pitching and most of the stuff I do is in my coach's cage anyway. So I think working on that, and I mean I'm working in the field too. So I think it all helps in the end.
Absolutely. Just more time to master the craft, get some practice, get some swings, and just see some live baseball and play a little baseball. Can't really beat that, man. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, dude. Well, before we get you out of here, we're going to play a little game that we play with all our guests. It's called This or That. You down to play?
Yeah.
All right. It's very simple. I give you 2 options. All you got to do is pick one option or the other.
Okay.
Can't say both. Can't say neither. Got to pick one.
Okay.
All right. First question. This is a softball question for you. If you had to go without one of the following condiments, which would you choose? Would you go without ranch or would you go without ketchup?
Ketchup.
Yeah, I could see that. Would you rather be street smart or book smart?
Street smart.
Man, a bunch of Tennessee guys all say street smart. What's up? The streets aren't too crazy down there in Knoxville, huh?
I bet if we had Luke on.
Luke would definitely say book smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke. Well, I mean, he doesn't really need the book smart, so maybe he would just choose street smart. That dude's a genius. I don't know why. I feel like street smart is more important than book smart.
Gotcha. Would you rather text or call?
By call, do you mean FaceTime or?
These newfangled kids.
I'm telling you, now I really feel old. Yeah, why not? FaceTime.
Probably FaceTime.
All right. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes or no?
Oh.
He's been asked that question. He's been asked that question before.
Yeah.
He answered it too quick.
Yeah. Hot
I
dog.
don't have
You're
an
right.
argument. I just don't think it is.
No, it is not.
And you're wrong, but it's okay.
No, you're 100% right. Like,
if you had to pick one and retire the other, which one would you pick? Daddy hat or fur coat?
Oh,
Can only have one.
Choose wisely. Your
So
teammates.
far, yeah, I was gonna say, out of your teammates,
All right.
most of them have picked one specific one.
I had a feeling I know what they picked, but I'm gonna keep the fur coat because I'm the one who carries it around, and it's like my little baby. So
That's because you're hitting all the bombs, Blake.
You and Trey.
How do you
I
keep
got-
that? How do you keep that thing clean?
Oh, that's nice right there.
Look at that. That's special.
Shout out Maryland.
Right. How do you keep that fur coat clean? I heard it stinks.
not.
Just
not
saying.
clean at all, actually.
Tony V said he don't even go near it. It smells and it has a weird texture to it, man. Y'all got to do
Yeah.
something with that thing. Maybe a dry
Especially
cleaning in the
hot
off season.
outside, you're sweating. It's not clean at all. Say that.
This is the next question is a crazy question. All right, so you gotta kind of take your hat off here for a second. Who are you rooting for? Are you rooting for Ole Miss or are you rooting for Arkansas? Of the two, you got to pick one. Who are you rooting for?
Ole Miss.
Why Ole Miss? Just curious.
You can be
I-
honest.
or-
Be comfortable in your skin, Blake.
I am. I don't know.
And see why
It's just between those two teams, right? Not the whole tournament.
Yeah, just
That's
those
correct.
two teams. Yeah.
Probably Ole Miss.
Well, now I want to know who you're
Would
rooting
you
for in the whole
pick-
tournament.
I bet he picked Stanford just because.
Now you gotta say Stanford's out.
Stanford's out. Yeah.
He's gonna say Notre Dame.
The whole
Oh,
tournament.
hell no.
Yeah, he is. He's got respect for the team that beat him.
Hell no.
I do
I
have
have-
respect for them beating us, but I'd probably A&M.
Hey, and I'll say,
I played with a couple kids on the A&M team, so I mean, if I had
What
to
a
pick.
story.
and hey, what a perfect opportunity, Randy, for me to jump in. You know, talking about that Twitter thing. Diamond Balls told me to tell Blake what's up because we were just joking on Twitter a little bit ago. Ole Miss fans were mentioning Tennessee, of course, and remember I was at that series. Those fans were out of there by the fourth inning, so it's they clapping now that they in Omaha. But I was there. I remember.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, doesn't mean much now. But I mean, that sweep was awesome for us, especially because they were number one at the time. I feel like that kind of got us going for the whole year.
All right. Would you rather owe money or owe a favor?
Favor.
Interesting.
When your friends ask you to help move, remember that.
Yeah. I mean, the favor's got to be equivalent to what I asked for. So
There you go.
All right. Fair enough. Would you rather spend 10 years in a coma or 5 years in jail?
10 years in a coma.
Good answer.
Oh, dude,
He's
that
so
is-
honest.
but that's unbelievable. All these skinny little guys come on here talking about give me jail. Then you actually get the big guy on, and he says give me the coma. I don't understand it.
Well, if you're in the coma, it probably flashes by like that. So
And that jail life is hard.
yeah, I don't want to go to jail.
No.
Blake,
no.
do you think of all your teammates on your team, who do you think picked jail?
Probably Seth. I mean, you guys got to take up his ego. So
I think the majority of them picked jail. I know Gilbert.
Gilbert didn't though. He said he wasn't made for jail.
I thought he said jail. I know Trey did. Trey definitely did.
I
Trey
believe
said
Trey.
jail.
I believe Trey because he can
Trey
wrestle.
would probably be freaked out by a coma. So
I think I would be freaked out in a federal prison myself.
yeah, me too.
I mean, I told those guys they were lying to our face when they picked jail. I mean,
Yeah.
I just know.
We've done interviewed so many. I think Dolander took jail, but Burns took coma. I don't know. It's so many, but it's been pretty split down the middle.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. As a 37-year-old man, I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And in jail, I know I've never been there, but I know I'm not good at that. Sleeping
I don't think
and
you know it.
napping. No, I know, bro. I know. Sleeping and napping, I'm good at that. Give me the coma all day. All day. All right, last question before we let you go. And this is really a question targeted to Tennessee baseball players. Would you rather be the hero or would you rather be the villain?
You got to pick one. Don't say I want to be the hero so I can be the villain.
Well, in the movies, the heroes always win, so probably a hero. I know people think we're villains, but
Not here on and off the bench, baby.
heroes always win.
You guys are heroes in our book, man. Larger than life. And before you leave, anything you want to plug or promote, Blake?
No, not really. Thank you, Randy, for supporting us this year.
Absolutely.
Oh wow! Just Randy.
Hey,
Randy, how many Tennessee games you go to? Hold on, time out.
He's getting
No. I know, but I want to know how many games Randy you've been to. No, I'm gonna go there though, since you went first.
Listen, Blake understands.
He's got the tee on, so I had to.
I'm an actual Tennessee fan.
I'm wearing the orange in off the bench T-shirt.
I know.
You're very welcome, Blake. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you guys did. I've been a Tennessee fan my whole life. A lot of down moments, especially in baseball. You guys have been a light.
Thank you.
He is fully invested in you guys, and Jim as well. I mean, I would say
yeah, I know he's been to a bunch of our games.
Yeah, I mean, he was so invested in you guys. He went and got in off the bench T-shirts in orange prior to you guys even like starting regionals because he knew he wanted to sell them in Omaha, and you guys let him down.
Yeah, we did.
Bro, hey, I passed them off as Auburn shirts, so don't worry about it. We still made it by.
It's all good.
I'm gonna need one of those shirts.
We got you.
Hey, not a problem, man. Hey, so because I had a feeling you were gonna say you didn't have anything to plug or promote, so I'm gonna do it for you. If y'all want to know more about Blake Burke, the man, the myth, it's not a legend. It's all fact. It's out there. He's doing big things. Check him out on Instagram at Blake Burke _. Or if you just want to see him in those smoky grays, check out on Instagram at Vol _baseball. Blake, my man, it's been a pleasure. If anything, you need anything, if we can help you out in any kind of way in the future, let us know, man.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that.
All right. That's Blake Burke, everybody. If you like hearing his story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter, listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, comments, ratings, feedback, all that good stuff is welcome. Bring it on. See everybody next week. We got episode 26. We're going to flip the script a little bit. We're going to talk some college football with LSU football star Xavier Hill. This has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We out.